Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Elvis, and today I'm reviewing Cutthroat City. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Cutthroat City is directed by RZA, and it's starring Tupac, T.I., Raekwon, and Blade. Now, I'm just playing around, but I'll get into their characters later on in the review. So, the movie opens up with some comic book style graphics. It's giving you a look into Cutthroat City. It was actually very bloody and violent. It kind of reminded me of Kill Bill a little bit, no pun intended, since RZA did the score for that. The opening scene was nice. It's the four characters in a van talking about movies, like they're actually talking about The Godfather and how it's not real, but since the story is so good, you can feel it. And then they also talk about Tarantino movies and how, like, the one guy even says Reservoir Dogs is overrated, which the comedy in this movie worked for me. Right out the gate, RZA presents this beautiful shot of this van in a valley with a nice blue sky and a vivid green grass. It looks really nice, and I gotta say, RZA did his thing behind the camera. RZA's directing is actually really good. There's some good camera movements, framing, and panning he pulls off. Like I mentioned before, the shot of the van in the opening scene was beautiful. There's a scene where a bride and a groom are getting married, and the centering of the shot is perfect. Later on, our main characters are in a casino, and it pans from one person to another, which I thought was really great. And one last example is when T.I. and Terrence Howard are at a table, and RZA is doing these circle camera movements between the two as they are talking. So many more examples, but RZA showcases he's a promising director. The cast was strong and talented. We had Shameik Moore, which I think that's how you pronounce his name. I thought he led the movie pretty well. If you don't know him as Raekwon from the Wu-Tang Hulu TV show, he also voices Miles Morales in the animated Into the Spider-Verse movie. In the film, he plays as Blink. Demetrius Shipp Jr. I thought was threatening as the thug/gangster he plays in the movie. He's most known for playing Tupac in the biopic All Eyes on Me, but some of you may know him as Tyrone from the TV show on Netflix called All American. His character's name is Miracle, or as you'll find out, TZ, which was a fun little joke. The other two people that are part of our four main leads I thought were good acting-wise, but as far as how they were written in the script, there were some issues that I'll get into later. Now, as far as T.I., Wesley Snipes, and Terrence Howard, I like the way they utilized them in the movie. They were more so of cameos because all three of them don't have a lot of screen time. T.I. surprised me with his acting. His delivery is so smooth and his pronunciation is sharp. He also has that southern accent, so it fits the story since it takes place in New Orleans. Wesley Snipes plays the father of Blink. Where I think he shined was a moment in the movie where he finds Blink's cash in a duffel bag. He kicks him out the house, and Wesley Snipes really delivered in that confrontation he had with his son. Terrence Howard did a solid job. I wish we could have gotten more of him, but he did good with what he was given. The tension in the movie was suspenseful in the scenes where it needed to be. There's a scene in the casino where Blink, Andre, and Jr. break in to steal the money. They can't open the safe the money is in, and the music starts playing, and RZA is focusing on the struggling hands of Blink trying to open it. I could feel the pressure in the theater, and I was so invested in the moment. Also, towards the end, when they're in a social service place, I think it's called FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, I believe. The guys are in there robbing the place, and the music is thrilling, and you can feel the time crunch they're in, because the cops are about to show up. The FEMA break-in scene I really enjoyed. Some more positives was the chemistry between our four main leads, Blink, TZ, Andre, and Jr. It felt natural and believable. They had laughing moments together, but as well as bickering towards each other. I liked this crew, but there were some issues I had with them. The group did follow some tropes you've probably seen in other movies like this. You have the tough actual gangster that's about it and wants to go do drive-bys. Then you have the nervous guy that's not sure about the situation, but he goes anyways. And then we go to the guy that thinks he's hard, but when it comes to the moment where he's pointing the gun, he doesn't have it in him to pull the trigger and tenses up. As for the fourth guy, he's just there and is like, let's just get this done. We've seen these types of roles played already, and that was the only issue I had with the four dudes we follow. My second upset were the action sequences. This is where I think RZA needs the most improvement. It was a lot of shaky and rough camera work. There's a shootout that happens between cops and Blink, TZ, Andre, and Junior. It was fast camera movements and you couldn't really see what was happening. One of the characters actually gets shot and ends up dying, which I missed because, like I said, it was quick and shaky the way it was shot. On the same topic of our leads dying, this is where I also had a problem in the script. So one of our guys ended up dying in the shootout they had with the police. Basically what the other dudes do is go and try to get him buried. They go to a guy who I guess has caskets. I don't know the proper name of the person that does that kind of job. Undertaker maybe, but anyways, he says he won't do it unless they have a proper death certificate. Shout out to Ice Cube. They pay the guy to get their friend buried, and then the one guy deals with his grief by going to the club and drinking champagne. Our other main lead just lies down on his bed next to his wife and says to her that his friend died. And that's it. What I told you happens in like 5 minutes. In this group, their friend just died and all they did was drink and lie down on the bed sad. Then the story just moved on. Oh well, my friend just died. Let me just go to the club and drink and go to the bed and tell my wife that my friend died. And the next day, everything's fine. You felt no emotion for the character that died. And to make it worse, it felt like his friends didn't really care either. That to me was the biggest negative, and the fact that his death was basically just swept under the rug. I won't say the ending is an upset, but it may be to some people. I didn't like it at first because of the decisions our main leads make, knowing the circumstances and knowing they're outnumbered. But the more I thought about it, it goes back to the title of Cutthroat City. Cutthroat meaning to do whatever it takes, regardless of the consequences. Overall, I had a good time with the movie. It was exciting seeing RZA's vision, and I do think he has talent behind the camera. I know he didn't write the script, but with a better script, this would have been a great film. For the 2020 movie, Cutthroat City, I'm going with a silver Oscar. So there you have it, guys. That's my review for Cutthroat City. I would say if you're hesitant about going to the theaters, this isn't one you should go rush out. Maybe wait for it so that you can rent it on VOD. But if you feel safe about going to the theaters, go and support RZA. This movie was a good time and I think you guys would enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Follow me on Instagram and I'll see you guys later.